Okay, this is try number 2 on this video. So this is a postural yoga class video. We're going to focus on the posture, which a lot of times becomes more about the spine than anything else. But keep in mind that your spine is feeding your nervous system and your circulatory system to all of your major organs and the peripheral appendages of your body. All right, so when we move through, there will be a couple of cues that I want you to spend a little bit extra time, especially since we may be spending more time sitting or in particular habitual postures that may require more energy or maybe not be as beneficial to the body. So this is your time to kind of like pay your body back for all that work that it does all week for you. All right, so starting at the top of the yoga mat, we're going to start with our feet hip distance apart. And first, let's just focus on what hip distance apart, because I see people go like this, hip distance apart. Hip distance apart isn't thigh distance apart, isn't mat distance apart. It's right underneath your iliac crest, the hip bones that are right here. All right, so you're stacking your feet underneath there, and that's going to be about like 4 inches, depending on how wide your hips are. Right, now then look down at your feet and check out your toes, and there's always a little bit of footwork that we can do here, starting off with spreading out the toes, because shoes are just designed to like squeeze everything together in there and keep it nice and neat. A lot of times it's not so much for comfort. So lift and spread the toes, and your toes aren't so much for you like gripping into the ground and holding onto things. It's more for you to just have that little bit extra of stability, right? That little bit extra of a wider base to help you stand. So if you think of other mammals, right, they're pretty much all 4-legged mammals, and they're all on the ground. So their feet are actually really short because they don't need this wide base. They have their hands and their feet, right? However, our feet are nice and wide. We have to take advantage of it and think about exploiting that by spreading those toes out, lifting. She's spreading the toes out really well. Lifting the toes and spreading them out as wide as you can. In fact, you should be working so hard right now that you start to feel like maybe a little bit of a foot cramp going on. And that means that you're doing it right. Okay, one thing I want you to notice though is if you're pushing all of your weight back into your knees, soften your knees a little bit so that it's really the foot doing the work here. If you even bend your knees, you're going to feel it's that much harder to find that lift up and spread out of the toes. Right. And now as we slowly release the toes down, keep those pinky toes nice and wide, right? Okay, and you can just lean your weight forward and lean your weight back a little bit. Make sure that the toes don't do much work. So as you lean forward, I want you to think of the ball mounds of the feet really pushing down. You can even lift your heels and feel that ball mound of the foot pushing down. Look down at your toes and notice if you're squeezing the toes to help you stabilize, and try to soften those toes out to the sides. Keep them nice and spread out. Maybe even think about lifting your toes here for an extra challenge. Okay, then settling back down, draw the ball mounds of the feet back towards the heels and lift up the arches. And if you lift up the arches enough, you can even feel like a little bit of height coming into your body, okay? I think it gives me a whole like quarter to a half an inch when I lift up my arches because they tend to roll in so much. Okay. Feel the outer edges of the feet ground down and find the outer edges as a little bit more of a push to help you find that lift up. Then we're going to hug the outer thighs in towards one another, right? Coming into the knees, think about finding a little tiny bend. And I want you to notice, I'll turn this way. If you push the backs of your knees and you really like shine out through the back of your knees, you're hyperextending the knees. And I can hyperextend a little bit so you can kind of see how like my knee almost tucks in underneath my thigh. I want you to find a little tiny bit of a bend so that you still have that nice shape of the knees, but it's not bent enough that somebody's would look at you and say, why are you bending your knees? Right? So keep that little tiny bit of a bend there that just you can feel, right? And as you find that little tiny bend, if you focus in on lifting up the arches, while you find that little tiny bend, you should feel your legs activating that much more. We'll come up into the hips, hold on to your hip crest, and we're just going to find an anterior posterior tilt. This is a lot like the cat-cow action that we find when we move through early in a yoga class. Right? And that cat-cow action, a lot of times people just focus on the shoulders or the thoracic region of the back, but there's a lot of hip action that you can benefit from here. So if you tend to find an anterior tilt, a forward tilt of the hips, you tend to have longer hamstrings. Maybe you could touch your toes a little bit easier, right? But then your hip flexors tend to be really tight through here. And I want you to lengthen them out by reaching the tailbone down and lifting the hip bones up. And that engages the abdominal muscles. And just find that for a moment. Reach that tailbone down, pull the belly in. And then find the other direction. Hip bones forward, lift the hamstrings, lengthen out the glutes even, and then pull the belly in. Right, and we're going to find the right in the middle position for you. So I don't want you to be tilted forward. I want you to be tilted in. I want you to be right in the middle so that you find a little bit of structure from the front and a little bit of tightness from the back that's supporting this. And then we'll come up into the shoulders, the best part. The part that kind of like does all this kind of work and this like lean forward that we tend to do. So we're going to first draw the shoulders all the way up to the ears because this is the motion that's going to be the easiest and most natural for us to find because of that tightness. Here comes the neighborhood. And then as you exhale, pull the shoulders onto your back, engage the rhomboid muscle that pinches the shoulder blades towards one another, and then slide the scapula down your back. Let's do that one more time. Lift up. The levitator scapulae muscles that lift up and pull the shoulder blades up towards your neck. And then roll the shoulders on your back. That's the rhomboids. It's the muscle between the shoulders. A lot of times it's really extended and underactive. And then slide the shoulders down your back. And as you slide the shoulders down your back, think about your sternum lifting up just a little bit. I want you to sway your back. I want you to just find a little bit of a lift through the front of the sternum. Draw the hands together. And settle your thumbs on your sternum. Elbows straight out to the sides. Find that lift up of the thighs, that lift of the arches. Soften the eyes and set an intention for your practice. Think about the little spaces, the little engagement that you've invited in just this introduction to the practice. And try to encourage that through the rest of the practice. And think about how that extends to off the mat. That little extra thought that you put into something. That little extra care that you show to something else that maybe is more routine than anything else. Slowly open up the eyes, reach the arms straight up. Stack your hands over your shoulders, finding Urdhva Hastasana. Look up towards your hands, okay? And let it be a subtle look up. So don't lift your chin all of it towards the ceiling. Just lift it slightly so that you can barely see your palms. Draw the shoulders down your back. Think about hollowing out the armpit by rolling the scapula in towards one another from the sides. Stay here for 5. Straight arms, straighten out those elbows. 4, try to draw the arms back next to the ears. 3, push the palms in towards one another, finding that isometric action. And then exhale, forward fold. Go put it back in the plant. Put it back in the plant. Soft bend through the knees. Relax through the head and the neck. Maybe even take your hands to the back of the head and turn it from side to side to make sure you're releasing here. Then again, notice that in forward fold, if you tend to put all your weight back into your heels and you're pushing your butt back, or all of your weight into the front of the toes and you're curling up your toes, I want you to soften those 2 areas, stack your hips over your heels, and then work towards straightening out the legs. We'll find a little bit of an opening here. Bend the left knee. Bring the left hand underneath your head. Take the right hand to the right hip and roll that right hip up towards the ceiling. You're going to feel something in the outside of that right leg at first. Extend the right arm up. Broaden out the chest. Look up towards that right palm. Then look down towards that left hand and crawl that left hand over towards the right side as far as you can. Keeping the right leg straight. Trying not to lean back into the right heel too much. Soften your toes. You can start to roll the chest to face the ceiling a little bit more. And then exhale, bring it back down, and we'll take it to the other side. Bend the right knee, straighten out the left leg. Bring the right hand underneath your face. Take the left hand to the left hip, and lift that left hip up towards the ceiling. Roll the right shoulder back, roll the right bicep out and away from your face, and then start to reach up that left arm. Can you put that dirt back in the plant. He needs it. Then look down towards that right hand and crawl the right hand over towards the left side of your mat. Start to roll the chest open a little bit more, turning it up towards the ceiling as much as you can. Aurora, no more. 3, 2, and exhale. Both hands come down to the ground. Find that forward fold position again. Bend through the knees. And we're going to step the right foot way back behind you. Step the left foot back, finding a planks position. Pull the belly in. Lift up through the chest. And notice if you tend to sag in your plank, I want you to really activate here. Lift the hips up so that they're level with your shoulders. Lift the thighs away from the ground. And then send your weight forward so you're on the very top of your toes. We'll draw that right knee in towards the right elbow. Step it back, left knee to left elbow. Step it back, right knee forward, left knee for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We'll take the right forearm down to the ground, roll to the right side, and then lift up the left arm. Lift up and out of that right shoulder. Stack or stagger the feet. And exhale, left forearm comes down, roll to the other side. Right arm up. Again, you can either step that right foot in front or stack the right foot on top of the left. Exhale, right hand down. Back into your plank. This time, shoulder tapped. Right hand to left shoulder, left hand to right shoulder. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Reach the chest forward, chaturanga. Inhale, lift it up. Exhale, back into downward facing dog. Bend the knees generously, lift the hips up. Think about your chest pushing back towards your thighs. Look back towards your ankles and think about smoothing out the creases of the ankles by lifting the hips up more. Lifting the heels up more. And then start to engage the quadriceps, straightening out your legs. And as you do so, notice if your back tends to round. So I'll kind of show you the rounding that you can have here. You might find like this little kind of rounding shape through the spine. If that happens, keep the knees bent and keep lifting up the hips. You want your spine really, really long. And then you can start to send the heels back. Inhale, look forward towards your hands. Exhale, step the right foot forward. Inhale, bring it up into a high lunge. Oh, we're going to take a nap. Draw that right knee forward. Pull the belly in, lift the sternum up, look up towards the palms. Engage that outer left thigh, and then rock your weight forward so that you're on the top of the left ball mound of the foot. The arms are straight and framing out the ears. Stay here for 5. Maybe sink down a little bit more for 4, 3, high, 2. Exhale, open it out to your Vajrasana 2. Look over the right hand. Find a line of energy from the pubic bone up to the belly button. Find that nice little tight pull in there. From the belly button up to the front of the chest. Find that lift up of the front of the chest. And then extension out through the arms. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Swing that left arm back around. We'll interlace the fingers behind us. Draw the knuckles down towards your left hamstring and open up the chest. This time you can lift the chin straight up towards the ceiling. Seal the pinky edges of your hand together and bend that right knee forward. You can stay right here, or if you'd like to take it a little bit harder, you're going to take the right shoulder inside the right knee and lift the knuckles straight up. Think about your head getting closer to the ground. Again, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release the hands, reach them straight back up. Exhale, both hands frame out the right foot, step it back into planks position. Lower the right forearm down. Come into Vashisthasana on the right. Left forearm down, Vashisthasana on the left. Right hand down, left hand down. Reach it forward. Elbows come in towards the ribs. This is a tricep push-up, chaturanga. Inhale, lift it up. Point the toes. Lift the legs away from the ground. Exhale, flip back over the feet. Downward facing dog. Inhale, look forward towards the hands. Exhale, left foot forward. Right heel's going to stay lifted. Inhale the arms up. Open up through the chest. Again, find that lift up of the right hip. And as you do that, straighten out the right leg again. Sink that left knee down and forward. Stay here for 5. Arms up. Luna. 4, 3, 2, 1. Interlace the fingers behind you. Find the opposite, crisscross opposite pinky on top. Straighten out the arms, lifting the chest up, knuckles down towards the right hamstring. Keep lifting that right heel away from the ground. You can stay right here, or bring that left shoulder inside the left thigh and drop your head down towards the ground. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, lift it back up. Reach the arms up. That's slippery mat syndrome. Exhale, bring both hands down. We're going to roll the right heel down. Open it out to Virabhadrasana 2. Find that cubic lift up to the belly button. Belly button lift up to the center of the chest, lifting up high. Arms reach out to the sides. 5. Squeeze that outer left glute. 4, 3. Draw that left knee forward. 2. Exhale, both hands come down. This time, tap the right knee down to the ground. We're going to keep the right hand down and point the right toes up towards the ceiling. Take the left hand to the inside of the left thigh and heel toe that left foot out to the left edge of the mat. You can even let the inner edge of the left foot peel away from the ground. And roll the chest open. Keep kicking that right toe up and in. Squeeze through the back of that right side. Yeah. And take that left foot back to center. Straighten out the left leg. 2 options here. You can either take that right foot out into the inside of the left thigh. If you're caring for your knees at all, that's the option you want to go for. Otherwise, you're going to take that right foot outside of the right hip and keep your knees about hip distance apart. Spread out the toes on the left foot. Lift up through the chest. Squeeze that left quadricep and walk your hands forward. Aurora. Lengthen the spine and think about that anterior tilt of the pelvis. So you're really walking your sit bones back and reaching the top of your hips forward, 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 keeping the spine long and pulling underneath that left leg to find length here. Luna. No. Keep going that way. Can you put the blanket back on the bed? Take one more inhale. Exhale. Bring it back up. Rebend that front left knee. Press both hands down to the ground. Step it into planks position. Hold here. For 5. Long breaths. 4. Lift the thighs. 3. 2. It's the ghost of Aurora Valverde. 1. All right, send the hips up and back. Inhale that left leg nice and high. Exhale. Right leg nice and high. Right knee to right elbow. Inhale back and up. Exhale. Right knee in towards the center of your chest. Keep your hips level and then send it over towards the left without dropping that right hip down. Inhale up. Exhale, right knee to right wrist, hovered over the ground. Exhale, pull that right knee in towards the chest as you breathe out. Inhale to the wrist. Exhale, pull it in. 3 more. Inhale down. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. 1 more. Inhale. Exhale. Send it back and up. And step that right foot all the way up to the outside of the right hand. Tap the left knee down. Point the left toes up. Wiggle that right foot out wide. And then take the right hand to the inside of the right thigh. And this is really on you, how much you squeeze in that left leg. I don't want you to grab it. I just want you to work the back of the left leg. Really the posterior chain. Roll the chest open and open up the hips. Few nice deep inhales and exhales.
Mom.
Hey. Yeah. And then exhale, bring that right hand back down to the ground. Tuck the back left toes, lift the left knee, step it back in a plank. Hips up and back. Inhale that left leg high. Exhale, left knee to left elbow. Inhale, send it back and up. Exhale, left knee to the center of your chest. Then cross it over the right without dropping the left hip down. Keep that nice tight core. Inhale, left leg up and back. Exhale, left knee to left wrist. 5 exhales, pulling it into the chest. Exhale, pull it in. Inhale to the wrist. Exhale, 4. Inhale. Exhale, 3. Inhale, 2. Inhale. Last one. Send it back and up. Step that left foot to the center of your yoga mat, right underneath your belly button. Come to your fingertips. And then lift up the right leg, straightening out the left leg. Turn the right toes out to the right side and reach that right arm up. Pause where you are or take this into a back bend, grabbing the top of the right foot. Roll that right shoulder back. Maybe start to kick back into the right hand so much that you can get light on those left fingers and extend forward. 2 more breaths. Luna. And then exhale. Bring that left hand back down to the ground. Right hand back down. Draw the right knee in towards your chest. Soft bend through the left leg. And we're going to come up to standing, trying not to touch that right foot on the ground. Hands to hips. Bring the right knee out in front of you.
No.
Pull in the belly. Option is stay right here and hold on to the right knee. Or find the full extension, grabbing hold of the right big toe with the right hand. And extending that right leg out in front of you. Stay here for 5. 4. 3. 2. 1. Flip the foot around so that the knee points down towards the ground and catch the top of the right foot. Reach that left arm up. Squeeze into the outer left thigh. And then start to kick back, finding a back bend here. Point the right toes straight up towards the ceiling. For 3. 2. And exhale, release that right foot down. Step the feet out wide. Take a deep breath. And let's go into the other side. Inhale, reach the arms out and up. Exhale, fold. Soft bend through the knees. Grab a hold of that left knee, right hip, and lift that left leg away from the ground. Squeeze that outer right thigh. Slide your left hand down and catch the top of the left foot. Inhale, extend. For 5. 4. Find that nice strong integrity through the gluteus medius. 2. And exhale, holding onto the top of that left foot. Point the left knee down towards the ground, flipping the grip. Reach the right arm up next to your right ear and kick that left hand back. left foot back into the hand. Try to keep lifting that right arm up next to the right ear. Deep breaths. 4, 3, 2, 1. And then slowly release that left foot down to the ground. Inhale, reach it out and up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, step the left foot back. We're going to tap the left knee down to the ground, step the right foot back, tap the right knee down to the ground, and then walk yourself back onto the heels. All right, keep the toes tucked right here, and then inhale, lift it up into an Ustrasana. We're going to push the hip bones forward, or the sacrum forward, and then roll the shoulders back. Find those rhomboid muscles again so that the shoulder blades are really squeezing in towards one another. And then find the erector spinae muscles on your back, pushing you up towards the ceiling, pushing your chest up towards the ceiling as you push the sacrum forward. Look over the right shoulder for the right foot. Look over the left shoulder for the left foot. Bring your hands to the center of your chest. Hover here for 5, 4, 3, 2, exhale, bring it back to center. Child's pose, point your toes, sit your hips back onto the heels, knees come wide, extend the arms out. Inhale, press back into the hands, retuck the toes, lift yourself back up. This time we're going to drop the hands behind us. Find all of the integrity that we found before. So squeeze those shoulder blades together, lift up the chest, find that space along the spine, and then slowly reach back towards the heels. If you want to look for your heels, you can, but I want you to drop the hands down and try to do it at the same time. Press the hips forward, look up, maybe drop the head back. 3 more breaths. And chin to chest, slowly bring it back up to center. Hands to the center, point the toes, knees come out wide. Again, walk your hands down your mat, find that child's pose, Balasana. And bringing it forward, we're going to take the legs out in front of us. Come back onto your back. Feet are going to come out a little bit wider than hip distance. So this time I want you to think about thigh distance apart. We're going to find that same Ustrasana position, but on our backs, right? So this should actually be a little bit easier. We're going to touch the outside edges of our feet with our fingers. And then I want you to move your feet away so you can just barely touch them with your middle fingers. So you have enough space for the spine to extend here. Turn your palms so that they face down to the ground. And notice where your shoulder blades are. Are you just feeling the inner edges of your shoulder blades? And if so, flatten out your shoulder blades onto the ground by drawing them closer together again. As you do that, you should feel that chest be a little bit further away from the ground, and the very tops of your shoulders should be able to reach down into the ground a little bit more. Then push down into the hands. You can move your shoulder blades back towards your heels and grab a hold of your ankles. All right, much like you were doing in Ustrasana. Now, really find the strength through the legs here. So you're really pushing up, lift the chin away from your chest, and then push into your heels to lift your hips a little bit higher. Try to relax your gluteus muscles as much as possible, and think about your tailbone pointing up towards the ceiling. Stay here for 3 more breaths. 2. And exhale, slowly release the hips back down to the ground. Reach the arms up alongside the ears. Bring the feet together and let the knees fall out to the sides to release the spine just a little bit. You can kind of shimmy those knees out wide. All right, you always have the option to just hold on to that bridge position and keep the shoulders onto the ground. Otherwise, you're going to find Urdhva Dhanurasana, hands alongside the ears. Push down into the hips, or your heels, and lift the hips again. Push into the hands, and then as you push up through those hands, I want you to slowly roll the head back like you want to look towards your toes and roll your chest forward. Stay here for 5, 4, 3, 2, And exhale, soften the elbows and bring it all the way back down. All right. Again, you have the option to stay right there. I like to stretch out the wrists a little bit between. You have the option to stay right there with Urdhva Dhanurasana. Otherwise, we're going to take it down onto our forearms. All right. So same progression. Feet are out hip distance or thigh distance apart. Push into the hands. Lift the hips. Lift the chest. Walk your feet in just 1 foot space. And then we're going to lower one forearm down, whichever you're more comfortable with. And then the other forearm down. Stay here for 5. Keep lifting those hips for 4. Chest rolls forward. 3. Engage the deltoids, the top of your shoulders as you push your armpits away from you. And then press your hands back down. Lift back into Urdhva Dhanurasana. And then all the way down onto your back again. Again, you can let your feet come together, knees out wide. Grab a hold of the wrists and stretch. All right, one more progression. This time we're going to alternate lifting up the legs. So you're going to step the feet out, thigh distance apart. And you can do this with the shoulders down or the shoulders lifted. But we will lower down onto the forearms if you're ready for that. Press down to lift up. Work your way lower if you were on your forearms before. Step your feet in a little bit closer. And then we're going to lift up just the right leg. Maybe straightening out. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Switch sides. Step in the right foot to the center of the mat. And then the left knee is going to lift in and up. For 5. Lift it up higher. Toes reach up. 4, 3, 2, and exhale, set that left foot down. Press the hands down to lift up into Urdhva Dhanurasana. And exhale, lower all the way back down. This time we'll draw the knees into the chest and make some circles around the hips. Right. Keeping that right foot in nice and close. Roll yourself up and extend the left leg. No, you're being fresh. Segregation. All right, spread out the left toes and find that anterior tilt of the pelvis and forward fold. Again, you can always take that right foot into the right thigh, to the left thigh. Engage the left quadriceps, long spine here. And then inhale, lift it back up. Take it up to a wide straddle. Turn the toes up towards the ceiling. You're going to go into your widest straddle by sliding your heels out as your hips come forward. And then just do that a couple more times. We're going to slide the heels out, push the hips forward with your hands. One more time. Slide the heels out, push the hips forward. Then start to reach that chest forward. Your hips are going to roll forward just a little bit, but try to keep your toes pointed up. Maybe the forearms come down to the ground. 5 deep inhales and exhales. You can also take the option of crawling the fingertips out, whatever gives you the most benefit. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And slowly walk those hands back in. We'll take the right foot in. We're going to keep it out wide though, so that right knee is open and the hips are as open as possible. Slide the left hand down inside the left foot. Reach the right hand up overhead. Stay right here, or you can start to come inside that left foot and roll the chest up towards the ceiling. Grabbing a hold of the top of the left foot with the right hand. And scratching the puppy underneath the neck. Take a few more nice deep inhales. Keep the chest nice and open wherever you go, and feel that side stretch on the right side. Inhale, coming back up to center. Let's take it to the other side. Slide the right hand down the right foot. Left hand can reach up overhead. If you feel nice and open, make sure you keep the shoulders open. You're not turning down towards the ground and you get to this position. 5, 4, 3, stretch the puppy under the neck. 2, and then inhale, bring it back up to center. And let's find a frog pose because we all love frog pose. I have a rug underneath my mat because I'm on a harder surface, but otherwise another option to make sure you have extra padding for the knees is to curl in the ends of your yoga mat and bring the inside of the knees on there. If that's too much, if your knees are sensitive, then just do this position on your back. You have a little bit more control there. So knees are going to slide out to the sides. I want 90-degree angles at my ankles and then at my knees. All right, and then I'm going to come down to forearms, and I want you to think about sliding hips back and forward. Hips back and forward. And usually that's the hips back that gets you nice and deep into that stretch. Opening up the pelvis a little bit more, getting you that much closer to your center split. It's coming, right? Right, and this hip tightness is it's like well established, right? You're doing things day to day to make your hips tighter and tighter to make sure that your legs don't end up in this position as you're walking around. So it takes longer for the fascia of the inner thighs to lengthen out and release, right? And you can consciously do that, or you can just stay here long enough that you start to feel yourself sinking down towards the ground a little bit more. All right, either way, you're going to have to take a little bit of patience with your body, though. It's like you're having an inner dialogue with it. It's like, how are we doing down there, hips? Can we send a little more oxygen down there to support you? Take a deep breath. Slow it down. Let's stay here for 5 more breaths. Okay, you can still find that rock forward and back if you're feeling too stagnant. Find that little bit of motion. You can even find like a cat-cow motion, a rounding of the spine, and then forward tilt of the spine. Hey. Just gonna eat your toes. All right, and slowly walk your knees forward. Actually, we'll come forward out of this. Turning the tops of your thighs down. Push yourself down into the ground to lift up. Okay. Yeah, what happened? All right, let's get into the shoulders a little bit more. So we'll start with finding a puppy pose. This is my puppy. All right. For your puppy pose, you're going to bring your forearms down to the ground. You're going to bring your hips right over your knees, and then lift up your elbows and walk your hands forward. Think about your chest and your armpits getting closer to the ground. As you come down, though, I don't want you sending your hips back. Keep the hips right over your knees. And if your forehead can touch the ground, then you're working on your chin touching the ground. And if your chin can touch the ground, work on your chest touching the ground, right? And then extend that action of reaching that chest out and away from the hips into your armpits. And think about your armpits reaching straight down towards the ground by engaging the deltoid muscles. And inhale, slowly bring yourself back up. All right. You can take a little stretch if you need to, a little cat-cow, and we'll bring the forearms down, tuck the toes, and lift the knees away from the ground, finding dolphin pose. Walk the toes in. Walk the toes in. Think about lifting those hips up, and then we're going to start to walk the feet out wide. As you walk them out wide, keep them nice and close and feel that weight come forward towards your elbows. As it comes forward, you're going to be, the easy way out is to let your head drop down to the ground. Engage the deltoids and lift your head away from the ground. Look down towards the ground, build your face up to the ground. Stay here for 5, lift the hips, 4, Top of the toes, 3, 2, exhale, hop the feet together, and then lower the knees down to the ground. And relax into child's pose for a moment. We're going to find that posture one more time, but this time we're going to lift up alternating legs. And separate the toddler from the puppy. You tuck the toes, lift the hips. Keeping the forearms glued down, make sure your hands don't come in towards one another. Lift up the right leg. We find 5 hops here. 4, 3, 2, light landing, switch legs. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then lower the knees down and send your hips back towards your heels. Inhale, slowly bringing yourself up, back into a seat. We're going to take the legs out in front of us and come onto our back. I don't think there's a fish laying on the ground over there. Call me crazy, but... Alright. Again, rock those knees in some circles. Alright, we're going to find an eagle wrap, crossing the right thigh over the left. You can, if it works for you, double cross the right toes behind the left calf. Reach the arms out to the sides, walk your hips in towards your chest, and then send them over to the right. Send the knees over towards the left. This is a nice, deep, more toward the upper back twist. Really let that right hip reach across and let your knees be heavy. Make sure the right shoulder stays onto the ground. And look over the right shoulder if you want to bring that twist a little bit more up into the cervical spine. We'll take it to the other side. Center the hips again. Find the opposite wrap, left thigh over the right. This is not fish, this is mulch. Can you give it back to the plant? Send the hips over towards the left slightly, and the knees over towards the right. Keep the arms out to the sides. Make sure that the left shoulder stays on the ground, even if that means lifting the knees up a little bit. Stay here for 3 more. And then slowly take the knees back to center, the hips back to center, unwrap the legs, and we'll take a happy baby pose. Turn the soles of the feet up towards the ceiling, grab a hold of the outer edges of the feet as you draw the knees down towards the ground. Think about the tailbone dropping down, arching the spine, lifting the belly button up, and then you can start to rock from side to side. Maybe straightening out one leg and then the other. Roll the shoulders down. Hi. Okay. And I like to end the practice with an inversion before we go into Shavasana. As Shavasana is really, it's not to go to sleep. We already did that one today, right? It's more to find this deep release mentally. And you find that deep release mentally by like the work that you've done with your body, this working together of how you think about your body, think about the motions of your body. You're able to settle into your body and just kind of release the thoughts of other things
No.
and just get a little bit closer to this absolute stillness of the mind as things around you pass by. We'll see how good I am at this atmosphere I'm in now. But anyway, finding that inversion kind of stimulates the nervous system to bring you closer to this stillness, right? So for inversion, it's your choice. An easy option would be just lifting your legs straight up. A little bit further than that, going into your shoulder stand, making sure that you're stacking your legs right under your hips. Your hips are coming up towards both of your shoulders. Okay. Other options are going into a headstand or going into a handstand. I'm going to go into a headstand. Your main goal is to stay there for 5 to 25 breaths, right? 25 being a nice comfortable place that gives you around 2 minutes. So yoga breath, is as slow and as deep as you're comfortable with. Maybe a little more shallow than where you're working the body. Take it there. Find those deep breaths. You should be about halfway to your 25. Oh no. No, don't do it. When you're ready, slowly moving down. Coming into a child's pose. And I'll stop the class here, but please do make sure that you find a Shavasana laying on your back for 5 to 20 minutes. 20 minutes is really like an optimal daily meditation practice. And Post Asana is a great way or a great place to find your meditation. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the surrounding entertainment. You can't get that in a lot of videos. A lot of videos are just some person talking for a really long time. But here, and in Duryana, you get surrounding entertainment. Thank you. Have a great rest of your weekend.